Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Third John Living Well, where we have been unpacking this beautiful passage of scripture in Third John 2. This says, Beloved, special term of endearment. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in every way, that your body may keep well, even as I know your soul keeps well and prospers. Think about that. That's an interesting term, a phrase. Your soul keeps well. It just keeps well. And that's what I want to begin to pour out to you, the importance of keeping well, of prospering, of thriving, of flourishing. I think when I first started doing this Facebook, I began to talk about how we have enough people who are just surviving. And it's way past time for us to move from surviving. Even now, we can still thrive in the midst of a storm. In the midst of a storm, we can still prosper. We can still thrive. Well, last week, we talked there briefly about talking with your kids, your children, your little ones, your middles, and your older children, because their stress level is just crazy. School shootings, stabbings, domestic violence, major, what do they call it? Shooting events where people just go crazy, just shooting up everything. And these things weigh heavy on our children. And we need to make sure, whether you have adult children like I do, or you have little ones that are in kindergarten, that we always take time to listen. Ask them, how you feeling today? Anything on your mind? And you know what? Here's something I have learned. I have learned to be very honest and even share some of how I feel with my kids. And you know what? In turn, they a lot of times will give me some information or say something that'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. And my daughter and I get into these not heated, but very lengthy discussions about world events, and especially here in the United States. And she enlightens me every time I listen to her. And I really enjoy it. She gives me a whole nother perspective from her age group, from her generation. Just like you can get a whole nother perspective on everything that we're going through in our government from your kids, but also how about your parents who have suffered through or been a part of, in many cases, the civil rights movement. And even before that, your grandparents. Take a time to sit down and listen to them. Sometimes ask them, mom or grandma, you've been listening to the news. How is this? What do you think about that? And what was it like when did you go through any of these things with your rights and liberties being threatened? And give them an opportunity to tell you, because you'll learn. They didn't live to be that old just by being stupid. They learned how to grow and to grow gracefully, age gracefully, and how to handle things by wisdom, by listening. I remember several years ago, during the time when George Floyd, all this was going on with him, and a lady said her mother, who lived with her, watching TV, and she ran in the room and turned the TV off. You ought not be listening to that. And I'm like, she missed a teachable moment. You know why? Because it may have been triggering memories in her mother. And it would have been great for her to share with her daughter what that was like. That was a moment that was missed. So keep in mind and pay attention not only to your children, but to the older people, the mature people, the seasoned people, the people who have wisdom in your family and in your church as well. So let's continue to make these conversations and have these conversations with our household, from the matriarchs and patriarchs to grandchildren, great-grandchildren, aunts and uncles. There's valuable wisdom you can gain from that. And also it will teach the young people to respect as well, because sometimes they think, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. Little do they know we've been there, seen it, done that 10 times over. So that in that conversation, you can it's a great chance to share your own experiences. I do it a lot. I'll be talking, my husband and I'll be talking, and I say, oh, we remember when you didn't get no snow days. You walked to school in knee-deep snow, and then you like, oh, yeah, they were busing kids all the time. So those are fun moments for us to share with them. Okay, so today, I found an article. Let me get it here. I got my granny glasses, y'all. And it's called An African American Holiday Guide to Self-Care. But um, it doesn't have to be specifically African American, and it doesn't have to be a holiday guide. We need to practice self-care on a daily basis. And it's challenging because we live in a world that's hurry up, do this, gotta be here. Let me check the calendar. What are you doing? Oh, I gotta leave. Everything is on a clock. Everything. And there's no time to just breathe anymore. And you have to literally create that space and that moment for yourself, for your spouse, for your family. Because without those areas being strong and healthy, then your life in general can be a lot more challenging. Believe it or not, we do need each other. Pastor Jay did a teaching a couple of months ago, and it was we're better together. I've never forgotten that because for me, that would have been a great married couples conference. We're better together. But the things that he taught would help you to prosper in relationships, help you to prosper in your selfhood, who you are as an individual. So we are better together. And we're also even better together with the Word of God and with a relationship with Jesus. And that's coming down the pipe too eventually. But right now, I'm real practical in what I teach. I have no, you know, yeah, I got degrees and whatnot. I got a couple of degrees, but I do enjoy the simplicity of the Word of God and the simplicity of articles that I read. And I like to apply them and share some of these with you. But anyway, in talking about self-care, gotta get my glasses out, y'all. And don't y'all laugh because some of y'all out there wearing trifocals. I just need reading glasses. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a little brief definition of self-care. And then I'm gonna give you some examples of how Jesus practiced self-care. In this article, the guide to self-care, and I will leave the links and whatnot for you as well, so you can go back and print these out and share with other people. This writer defines self-care. He says it is self-care is a commonly used term, but it can look different to different people. The National Institute of Mental Health defines self-care as taking the time to do things that help you live well and improve both your physical and mental health. We could just leave that one right there because that's important. It talks about your physical and your mental health. Why is it important? Because if you are not functioning well physically in your body, it affects your mental well-being. It can cause depression, anxiety, stress. It can cause anger, rage, and even suicidal thoughts. If you're not functioning or prospering mentally, it can affect you physically. Because if you are stressed, if you are in a fight or flight moment, your blood pressure elevates, your heart rate goes up, your breathing goes up. You're not breathing normally, so you're not getting enough oxygen. You may feel fainty, all kinds of stuff. You may lose your appetite. You may overeat. You may overdo exercise or not exercise at all. You may be snappy, snippy, and snarky with people. All of those things. When you are emotionally not well, it affects physical. When you're not physical, it affects emotional, okay, and mental. So we want to do things that will help us to be well in those areas, to be well, to keep well in those areas of our life. In this article, it gives simple things. It talks about knowing your limits. In other words, if you know you are a caregiver for a child, a special needs child, or a parent, do not take on the Christmas dinner. Please don't. If they want to have dinner at your house, you tell every one of them folk, you bring something. You clean up, you do dishes. And if you cannot do that, it was nice to hear from you. That's what I call setting a boundary too. Not like just because you've done it in years past does not mean that you need to do it right now, especially if you're a caregiver. That it's challenging enough keeping up with a special child or an elderly parent, or it may even be a sibling that you're caring for. But you need to be mindful. No is a good word at the right time and in the right place. No, I am so sorry. I cannot do it this year. But if you want to come, I encourage you to make a list and give it out to those that wish to come to my house and let them know that they will have to cook, clean. Okay. Alrighty then. Oh, know your limits. Do not be pushed or pressed beyond it. Even in your serving in ministry at your church. I We so busy serving in church. Little side say, I keep so busy working for my Jesus, I ain't got time to die. You keep serving and not resting. You keep serving and not paying attention to your family. It's priorities, guys. We gotta prioritize things. You don't need to be at church 7 days a week. Okay? You got a family. You need to make sure there's quality time with your husband, your children, your parents, other siblings. You need to make sure you get proper rest so that you can be a good student, an employee or employer. Okay? And you want to be effective in ministry, stay healthy, stay well, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay? So know your limits. Do not overtax just tax yourself during the holiday season or in ministry. Some people ain't gonna like that one. But that's a lie. You ain't got time to die because you gonna die whether you serving or not, okay? Bible say it's begin you got one time and you gonna kick the bucket, okay? All right, and then the judgment. All right. So, and set reasonable expectations for yourself, not other people. But we can't expect other people to do what we need or what we want. Set reasonable expectations for yourself. Okay, this year I can't get the big whatever dollhouse for my baby. But you know what? I can get this. I can't get my husband the new ring that I wanted to get him, but I can get him this. Always take time and look for what your people need around you. And because if you got them what they wanted, you'd be broke, okay? But let's be reasonable and have certain, not that you're lowering your expectations, but you want to be reasonable in what you want to get out of the holiday, what you want to get out of life after the holiday. I call that the recovery period, where some people are making where they set goals and all this stuff, and they go into the gym, they go da 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 da. Yeah, girl, we gonna walk. Hmm. Set reasonable expectations for the end of the year of things you might want to get accomplished, and at the beginning of the year. And don't even call them goals anymore. I think we kind of run that in the ground. Find another word that will fit that you can commit to that won't make you feel like, okay, now I hate it when people be teaching on why submit to your husband. Okay. So I had to find another word for that. I can get along with him. As long as he's getting along with God, we all gonna get along. Amen. Okay. So find another word. I know my husband doesn't like for me to talk about making plans or setting goals. So I'll say, we can make an adjustment in this area. Adjustment, that's another word for saying I have a goal. And in that, but also in adjustment, there has to be a strategy, a plan, a roadmap of how you're going to get things done. What's most important to get done? So you're knowing your limits. You're setting reasonable expectations on what it is you want to get done. I'm the type of person that I do have some things in mind I may want to do. I may have 5 things and I may only accomplish one. Do you not know I celebrate that one thing? My energy is limited, but I celebrate and I'm so proud of myself for that one thing. And I say to myself, I'm so proud of you. You did such and such. Okay. And also, let's see, practice gratitude and focus on positivity. Now, that can be a challenge, focusing on positivity, especially now with our United States being in the state that it's in. That's kind of hard to think positive. But here's what you can look at. I may not be able to get that steak that I want, but you know what? That piece of chicken over there, I can find some recipes for that. And I'm not a big pork eater, but you know what? I bet I could find a way to make it, pretty good. You don't have to have that steak. So just think about it. I may not want, because, beef after a while, there's too much of anything it can be detrimental. But you don't have to have that beef. You can fix yourself a nice little omelet for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Learn to make some quiche and put a little meat in it. I mean, do stir fries. That's lots of vegetables. That's good for you. And get a quality olive oil or avocado oil. There's always a way to do it, but you got to be realistic. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm always positive in my thoughts because I'm not. But I have to make adjustments sometimes. I have to, do one of those slap yourself and, come on, snap out of it. You got to do better than this. I talk to myself a lot, and sometimes I make sense, sometimes I don't. But the one thing I do realize is that thinking positive, you have to start off with just a single thought first. And if it's like a cockeyed thought, then wait a minute, this does not feel right. And if you say it out loud, it won't even sound right. That'll make you change. My husband will ask me, how you feeling today? You know what? Kind of got the usual aches and pains, but I'm on top of the dirt. The sun is shining. I can get up and move, howbeit it's slow and sound like Rice Krispies, but I can snap, crackle, and pop and do whatever I need to do. So that's putting a positive spin on something that could have been negative because I could have said, I'm really achy today. I don't feel like doing nothing. And sometimes I actually say that, but then I flip it. You know what? Okay, now what I got to do today? Quickly flip it from something negative to something positive, something where I can get something accomplished and be proud of at the end of the day. Because it's a day by day thing, y'all. We're in this for the long haul, so you got to take it day by day. Okay. And also, one other thing they said, be kind to your mind. Be gentle to yourself. Be easy on yourself. We are our own worst critics. We can kill a a good idea quickly with our mouth and with the wrong thought that will follow that idea. So be kind to your mind. Think about what you want to do for yourself. And I've just started doing this in the past few years. At Christmas and birthday, I treat myself to something nice. Yes, I do. hmm So be kind to yourself. Be kind and gentle to yourself. And if you don't think that Jesus practiced self-care, let me show you a couple of things. And I've always believed this. You know why? Because when it talks about how he had ministered, he would immediately just like get away from the crowd. That's self-care. Because if you done dealt with 5,000 peoples, plus women and children's, come on, y'all, you are pretty much wiped out. There's a great sense of accomplishment and a great joy, I'm sure, that he had after he had done all of this. But let me tell you something, brother was tired. Why? Because the word became flesh. Okay. That means his physical body felt the things that we feel. Let's be honest. Okay. Here's a couple of things that, again, I found a really great article. I'll leave the link for you. It's called Learning Self-Care from Jesus. Here's a question. I love this. It says, how are you doing? Really? Truthfully, how are you doing? Can we answer the question? Can I share a quick story? Y'all, I love test stories. My kids and I, the family, we had gone down to, I think it was King's Dominion one year, and we had walk that Saturday. So when Sunday came, my feet were hurting. And this person asked me, so how you doing today? I said, girl, my feet are, oh, they're Give me a fit. Oh, don't confess that. That's that. I'm like, you asked me how I was doing. I told you my feet hurt. You could have said, "What your feet doing hurt?" And then I could have told you we went and I walked and da 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 da. Oh, but oh my, I was in her mind I had made a negative confession. No, I told the truth and I answered her question. So I will ask you all today, how are you feeling? Really, how are you feeling? And you can answer the question to yourself. You don't have to answer me. But sometimes ask yourself the question, how do I really feel today? Am I feeling a little stressed? Am I feeling a little down? Am I excited? Am I looking forward to something in particular? Okay. But anyway, let's get to this real quick, and then I'm gonna let you guys go because I really want to. I'll be on this for a minute, talking about self-care and taking care of your self mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all that good stuff. And it's a challenge, but it's something we must learn to do because it's just that important that we take care. All right, let's see. The writer's talking about how he been thinking about how Jesus spent his time. One of the things he says, Jesus spent a lot of time outdoors, walking, observing, being in God's creation. Oh, that's good. Being in God's creation and being in nature. And I am so guilty. I'm really a homebody, y'all. I love being at home, piddling around, doing stuff, reading books, whatever, listening to music. But I'm not an outdoorsy person. I don't do yard work. Not no more. I used to, but not anymore. But I do enjoy going to the park. I enjoy going to the beach. For me, that's being outside and enjoying nature. That's just me. I love going to Louis Skinner Botanical. Not during allergy season, y'all. Not during allergy season. But, if Jesus took time, he enjoyed that. Well, I guess you said, well, that's the way they lived. Yeah, but it was still cool to know that Jesus enjoyed it, being outside and being with nature. Yeah, he went up to mountains and he would go down by the sea and yeah, he ended up ministering. But either way, these were nice calming settings. And when he talks about being was it led beside still waters in Psalm 23. Ooh, yes. Talks about green pastures. There's a song, and part of the song goes, in shady green pastures, so full and so free, God leads his dear children along. We need to take a moment and find those shady green pastures. Maybe it's in your backyard. Maybe it's in your sunroom. For me, that's my exercise room. So nature is beautiful. My mother was a plant person. I got some plants that she's had since I was a kid. They just keep sprouting. I keep keeping them. And so doing something with plants, it's something about, I read an article one time and the writer talked about how we have our hands in the soil. And there's something calming about that. It's been noted that your blood pressure will go down, your breathing will slow, your mind slows down. Why? Because that's what we're made of. We're reconnecting with what we came from by way of our hands, by touch. So yeah, get out and enjoy nature. But then there are times you want to be by yourself, right? Like I said, I'm a loner. I don't mind being alone. I love it. um, um, and it's good to be out in nature. So for me, like I'm getting ready to get some really cute barn doors put on mine. It's supposed to be a formal living room, but I turned it into my office with bookshelves, got my piano in here and everything. This is going to be my space where I can shut these doors and I can just enjoy the solitude of the moment. We all need those moments. Jesus had them. When he got done ministering, Brahman disappeared. He went to the mountains to pray, to sit, just talk to his dad sometimes. Abba Father. And he enjoyed that. Something else he did in his years here on earth as a person, as a human, he created a strong circle of friends that he could trust. And that's a challenge today to do that. I can honestly say I'm still working on that one myself. To find people you can trust, really trust. Right now, I would say my sister is my best friend. We talk about everything, and I know whatever I say or whatever we, say to one another, that's as far as it goes. And then we laugh, and my husband's like, "What are you laughing at now?" I said, "I can't tell you." Because half the time we probably laughing at the guys anyway. So that's a good thing, to have. We're prospering in our relationship as siblings. There's like 14 years between us, but you would never know it because we get together and we just have a grand time. We learn from each other as well. So, think about this too. You remember when Jesus said, "Suffer little children, let them come unto me." Now, if you think about how kids are, kids don't just gravitate to anybody. They gravitate to a certain. It's like they sense where a person is and what they're like. So Jesus had to be doing something to make these kids like run to him. And can you imagine Jesus probably playing with them a little bit? If they were kicking a ball or kicking a stick or something, he probably got there and played with them. Why? He's human. That's his humanity. His deity, yeah, it's still there, but he had to connect with the people where they were. That's why he came as a baby and he experienced diaper changes. He had to learn how to walk and feed himself and how to talk, just like any other child. And that is what I think is so beautiful about him. And Jesus found joy in serving others. And that's a rare thing these days, where people enjoy serving others. My occupation is nurse. And to this day, and I've been retired for a minute, y'all, but to this day, if I go in a hospital setting, it's like my little spidey senses start tingling because nursing was put in me before I was born. To be a nurse, that's a form of caregiving. And so that's something I really did enjoy doing. And if I were physically able to continue to do it, I would take on a case or two. But things have changed so much since I retired. But yeah, he enjoyed serving others. Remember, he washed people's feet, the disciples' feet. Isn't that cool? That is really cool. So, guys, okay, I know we have a short attention span. Find, always, you don't have to find time. You have to take advantage of the 24 hours a day that we have and have that space that's just for you. It will help you be able to manage everyday issues. If you could just have 5 to 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes to yourself. No kids, no husband, no classwork, no projects from work to do, where you just sit and maybe just lie flat on the floor. Maybe you go sit on your deck even though it's cold. Maybe you go for a walk or a bike ride and just enjoy. Just breathe. Just take a good deep breath and renew and refresh your body with oxygen, fresh oxygen. Not the stuff you've been holding in all day long because you just wanted to somebody. But take it very seriously, because when the writer says, beloved, that's a very special term for someone. That means he is deeply invested and concerned about you. He said, I want you to prosper in every way, not just in church on Sunday, okay? Or Bible study on whatever day yours is. It's like 7 days a week, 365, y'all. He wants us to prosper, be in good health, have healthy relationships. That means we're constantly working on these things. It's not going to fall out of the sky, y'all. It's just not. It don't do that. We've got to be diligent. We've got to be consistent about self-care. We've got to work on our stress. They're messing with our healthcare, so y'all got to take care of yourself and trust God. When he tells you not to do something, don't do it. Just don't do it. Be obedient. If he tells you this is a good time to go sit down with your child, stop whatever it is you're doing and go do it. Why? Because that's a window of opportunity for great communication. And the things that your child will disclose to you will shock you. Why? Because you picked the right moment, because maybe at that moment, that child was sitting and thinking about something. Maybe they were on social media posting something. And when you approach them and say, hey, I just had you on my mind. I thought I'd come up and lay, just plop across the bed. That's what I do with my kids. I just flop across the bed and say, "What's up?" But let's learn to do better. We're going to know better the more we interact about 3rd John 2, all right? And the more you look at it, and God's going to hold you accountable too, even for the things that I'm sharing with you and for the things that I've had to listen to myself. Don't know. It hit the preacher before it hit you. So let's take it very seriously. Our mental well-being, our physical well-being, our emotional well-being, and our spiritual well-being. And just know that it is worth it to take that time for yourself. It is worth it to ask your kid, "Hey, how you doing today? How was your day at school?" And they may seem like simple questions, but believe it or not, I used to ask my daughter when she's still in school, getting ready to get her PhD. And some days she would come in and I could tell she was just like stressed to the max. I'd be like, "Hey, what happened today?" And she'd be like, "Mom, I couldn't find nowhere to park. And then it started raining and I had my umbrella. And then the teacher was so boring." I'm like, so she needed that moment to express those things that were frustrating her. And so after she unloaded that stuff, then she was okay. She was okay to talk with. But had I not said anything, then she, would have been just, y'all know how grown folk can be sometimes. But she would have been in a mess, would have been messy all afternoon. But because I gave her that window of opportunity to vent, it was cool. And it was like, finally. Okay. So anywho, guys, I really hope you're getting something out of this. And take it very seriously that I keep harping on some things. That well-being, that wellness, that understanding that it is God's desire for you to prosper, to thrive, and to flourish, even in the midst of the storm. One last story. I heard a minister talk about a palm tree, and I've always loved palm trees. I think they're beautiful. What I did not realize is that they're very resilient and very flexible. And he told the story of, his topic was bend but don't break. And he used the palm tree as an example. How no matter how hard the winds blew or the rain beat, that thing would bend all the way over to the ground, but it would come back up. And that's the way we're going to have to learn to walk. Now, we may bend, but we won't break as long as we stay and abide under the shadow of the Almighty God, according to Psalm 91, okay? And I think I've encouraged you guys prior to other meetings to read Psalm 91. Read it out loud. Play it at night. Play it in your car. Because the way things are now, you might get picked up by ice. You don't know, child. Anyway, I mean, it's a very serious thing. And I always make sure that you know where your children are. If they're going somewhere, make sure that they call you or text you that they have arrived safely. Spouses, do the same thing. Check on your parents and your siblings. It is a very serious thing. They want to get rid of us, but they can't. But we have to be as wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove, but as wise as a serpent. Don't be ignorant to what the enemy's trying to do. The Bible tells us that. Don't be ignorant. Know and understand what he's doing. And go to God for a strategy. Counter it. But anywho, that's a whole nother subject, y'all. So I'm talking to my sister. But anyway, catch my niece, Elder Natasha Pyle, Apostle in Training, on Monday nights at 8:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and I can't remember, there was another one. And she does an awesome teaching on, you name it. God gives her some powerful things to it's, oh my goodness. Talking so much, I forgot what it was. Oh, come on now. Power Surge Ministries. Power Surge Ministries. You should have checked her out. She's doing a fantastic job. My nephew also comes on, Bishop Kenneth Pearman. He comes on every morning at 7:30, around 7:30-ish on Facebook, Reaching Out for Jesus Christian Center. And he does awesome teachings on there as well, and prophetic insight and whatnot. So catch these guys; they're really good. When I do get a chance, I will repost their teachings because I think you'll find them extremely helpful. Look, you guys be blessed. If you want to post this again, go to my Facebook page, Third John Living Well, specifically, and that's public, so you can post and share. Like, post, share. And feedback is always welcome. You guys be blessed. I do apologize for going long. There's a lot more. I got a binder, y'all. Don't laugh. I had to put a binder together because I had so much stuff that I wanted to cover. And yeah, I can't do it all in one sitting. So until we meet next time, you guys be blessed and prosper, thrive, and flourish according to Third John 2. Love you guys. Take care, and I will see you all soon.